The bridal shower was held at Mom's country club, complete with champagne fountains and a string quartet. My sister Vanessa sat in the center of the room like a queen, opening gifts wrapped in designer paper. Tiffany vases, Hermès throw blankets, a KitchenAid mixer in rose gold that cost more than most people's monthly rent. This is from Aunt Caroline. Vanessa squealed, holding up crystal champagne flutes. Baccarat. She knows my taste. Mom beamed. Only the best for our Vanessa. I sat in the back row sipping mimosa and trying to be invisible. It didn't work. Emma. Vanessa's voice cut through the chatter. You haven't put anything on the gift table. Every head turned toward me. I'm still deciding, I said carefully. Vanessa's smile was sharp. The wedding's in 2 weeks. Most people ordered from the registry months ago. I'm aware. My cousin Jennifer leaned over. Emma, honey, if money's tight you could always go in on a group gift with some of the younger cousins. That's actually a great idea, Mom said quickly. No shame in that. Vanessa held up a hand. Actually, I've been thinking about this. Emma, maybe it's better if you don't bring a gift at all. The room went quiet. Excuse me, I said. I don't want you to feel pressured. We all know you're still finding your footing financially. It would be worse to bring something cheap that doesn't match the other gifts. People would notice. Aunt Caroline nodded sympathetically. Vanessa's right. Better to give your presents as the present. Plus, Vanessa continued, warming to her theme, you'll need to save money for appropriate wedding attire. The dress code is black tie. I know that can be expensive if you don't already own something suitable. Jennifer touched my arm. I have a gown you could borrow. We're almost the same size. That's kind of you, I said evenly, but I'll manage. Will you though? Vanessa's fiancé's mother, Patricia, joined in. Darling, there's no shame in admitting when things are difficult. We're all family here. Mom set down her champagne. Emma's very independent. She likes to do things her own way even when it's impractical. Like that tiny apartment, Jennifer said. In that neighborhood. And that job, Aunt Caroline added. What is it you do again? Something with computers. Digital consulting, I said. Vanessa laughed. She means freelance work. Gig economy stuff. It's very unstable, but Emma insists it's a real career. Patricia looked concerned. No benefits? No retirement plan? I manage, I repeated. Barely, Vanessa said. Which is why I'm saying, seriously Emma, don't stress about a gift. Your being there is enough. Well, being there appropriately dressed at least. The other bridesmaids giggled. I took another sip of mimosa and said nothing. Mom opened another gift. A Le Creuset set from Vanessa's college roommate. How this is thoughtful. See how she checked the registry and chose something meaningful. The rest of the shower continued in the same vein. Expensive gifts, pointed comments about my finances, helpful suggestions about borrowing clothes or going in on group gifts with relatives I hadn't spoken to in years. I smiled through all of it. As guests were leaving, Vanessa pulled me aside. Emma, I need to talk to you about the seating chart. Okay. You're at table 18. In the back corner near the kitchen doors. That's fine. I just didn't want you to feel bad about not being at a head table. But you understand, those are for family who contributed to the wedding. Parents, wedding party, major donors. Major donors? Uncle Richard helped pay for the flowers. Aunt Caroline covered the champagne. You know, people who invested in making this day special. Right. And about bringing a +1. I wasn't planning on it. Good. Because we're at maximum capacity, and I'd hate to squeeze in someone just so you don't look lonely. I adjusted my purse. Anything else? Vanessa's expression softened into what she probably thought was sisterly concern. I'm not trying to be mean. I just want you to enjoy the day without feeling inferior. Everyone knows you're doing your best with limited resources. There's no judgment. How generous. She missed the sarcasm entirely. I knew you'd understand. Oh, and one more thing. The wedding planner might call you about some final details. If she does, just tell her you'll handle whatever small task she needs. Maybe assembling favors or something. It would be nice if you contributed somehow. I'll keep that in mind. That evening my phone rang. Unknown number. This is Emma Hayes. Ms. Hayes. This is Amanda Pierce from Grandview Estate. I'm the venue coordinator for the Bennett Morrison wedding. Vanessa's wedding. Her fiancé's last name was Bennett. How can I help you? Amanda's voice dropped to a whisper. I'm so sorry to bother you, but we have a situation. The final payment for the wedding, $180,000, was due yesterday. The account check bounced. I sat up straighter. Bounced. The bride and groom's families were splitting the cost. Apparently, there was some miscommunication about who was covering what. Now both families are claiming the other was responsible for this payment. I see. Ms. Hayes, I'm calling because you're listed as the bride's sister and emergency contact. I know this is awkward, but we need to resolve this by Friday or we'll have to cancel the event. Cancel. Our policy is clear. No payment, no service. And with a wedding this size, 350 guests, full catering, premium bar package, we can't absorb that cost. I thought about table 18. About the borrowed dress suggestion. About being told not to bring a gift because it might be embarrassing. Amanda, can I ask you something? Of course. Who owns Grandview Estate? Oz. The property is part of Prestige Hospitality Group. Why? And who owns Prestige Hospitality Group? I'm not sure. It's a corporate entity. I'd have to check She stopped. Oh my God. You found it. Hayes Luxury Properties. The parent company is Hayes Luxury Properties. Her voice went up an octave. You're the Emma Hayes? I am. You own Grandview Estate. And the Riverside Club. And the Metropolitan Ballroom downtown. And 12 luxury event venues across the state, yes. Miss Hayes, I am so sorry. I had no idea. Your sister never mentioned. My sister doesn't know. Silence. She doesn't know you own the venue where she's getting married? She doesn't know I own much of anything. My family has certain assumptions about my financial situation. Amanda's whisper was odd. The $180,000 bill is pocket change in the context of my company's annual revenue, but that's beside the point. I paused. What exactly did my sister say when you told her about the bounced check? She said, and I quote, "Figure it out. This is your problem, not mine. We booked in good faith." Then she hung up. Sounds like Vanessa. Miss Hayes, what would you like me to do? I thought about it. About years of condescension. About being seated at table 18 like a charity case. About being told my presence was gift enough because anything I could afford would be embarrassing. Here's what's going to happen, I said. You're going to call Vanessa back. Tell her the payment issue is resolved. Should I mention that you? No. Don't mention me at all. Just tell her a corporate adjustment was made and the venue is paid in full. Understood. And the actual payment? Comp it. Write it off as a family courtesy. But Amanda, I want detailed records of every interaction with the bride and groom from this point forward. Of course, Ms. Hayes. And Amanda, I'll be attending the wedding. I'm currently seated at table 18. A shocked pause. Table 18? That's near the kitchen. Ms. Hayes, you should be at the head table. I'm aware of where I should be. Leave the seating chart as is. But trust me on this. The next 2 weeks passed in a flurry of family chaos. Vanessa called me 3 times asking if I could pick up her dress from alterations, drop off tips for the vendors, and assemble 350 favor boxes. I did all of it without complaint. The morning of the wedding, Mom called. Emma, please tell me you found something appropriate to wear. I did. Not that black dress from Aunt Helen's funeral? No, Mom. Something new. New from where? Please don't say Target. It's from a boutique. Well, that's something. And you're not bringing a date. No date. Probably for the best. You know how people talk. I arrived at Grandview Estate at 4:30 p.m. The property looked stunning. Rolling gardens, a stone mansion, white chairs arranged in perfect rows overlooking the lake. Amanda spotted me immediately and rushed over. Miss Hayes, she whispered. You look beautiful. My dress was midnight blue silk, custom-made, and cost more than most of the gifts on Vanessa's registry combined. But it was understated enough that my family wouldn't realize. Everything on schedule? I asked quietly. Perfect. The bride is in the bridal suite. The groom's getting ready in the west wing. Guests are starting to arrive. And the bill situation? Both families think the other one paid it. No one's questioned the corporate adjustment. Good. I found my seat at table 18. The view was partially blocked by a decorative column. The table wobbled slightly. 2 of my table mates were distant cousins I'd met once, and 3 were college friends of the groom who clearly didn't want to be relegated to the back. Perfect. The ceremony was lovely. Vanessa looked stunning in her Vera Wang gown. The vows were heartfelt. The string quartet played beautifully. Then came the reception. Vanessa and her new husband made their grand entrance to thunderous applause. The first dance was choreographed and flawless. Dinner was served, filet mignon and Chilean sea bass, because Vanessa insisted on dual entrees. At the head table, Mom and Dad sat with Vanessa, her husband, and the wedding party. Uncle Richard was at table 2 with Aunt Caroline. The prestigious guests, Dad's business partners, Vanessa's college friends, her husband's family, occupied tables 3 through 8. Tables 9 through 17 were general family and friends. And then there was table 18. During dinner, Vanessa's voice carried across the ballroom as she thanked various people for their generous contributions. Uncle Richard for the flowers. Aunt Caroline for the champagne. Her mother-in-law for the rehearsal dinner. My name was not mentioned. After dinner, I excused myself and found Amanda near the kitchen. "How's everything going?" I asked. "Smooth as silk. The bride is very happy." "Good. Can you do me a favor?" "Anything, Ms. Hayes." "In about 10 minutes, I need you to approach table 18. Very professionally, very publicly." Amanda's eyes gleamed. "What would you like me to say?" I told her. 10 minutes later, I was picking at wedding cake when Amanda appeared at my elbow, carrying an iPad and looking apologetic. "Ms. Hayes." Her voice was loud enough to carry to nearby tables. "I'm so sorry to interrupt, but we need your signature on the venue modification contracts." Conversations around us stopped. I looked up. "Now, can't it wait until Monday?" "I'm afraid not. The contractors need approval to start the ballroom expansion Monday morning. The $3.2 million renovation can't proceed without your authorization." Every person at table 18 stared at me. "Fine," I said, taking the iPad. "Which sections need signing?" Amanda scrolled through, pointing out signature lines while speaking clearly. "Here for the construction contract. Here for the architectural plans. And here for the Hayes Luxury Properties corporate approval." My cousin Sarah dropped her fork. "Hayes Luxury Properties," she said. "Wait, isn't that the parent company that owns this venue?" Amanda confirmed brightly. "Ms. Hayes owns Grandview Estate, along with 11 other luxury properties in the state." You could have heard a pin drop. "Emma owns this place," one of the groomsmen whispered. I signed the final line and handed back the iPad. "Thank you, Amanda. Anything else?" "Just one question about tonight's event." Her voice carried across the now silent ballroom. "Since the bride's family payment didn't clear, should we still comp the full $180,000, or would you like to bill them after all?" The silence was deafening. At the head table, Vanessa had frozen mid-laugh. Mom's champagne glass stopped halfway to her lips. Dad's face was turning red. "The payment didn't clear?" I asked innocently. "No, ma'am. Both the bride and groom's families' checks bounced. We were going to cancel the event, but you approved comping the entire cost as a family courtesy." Jennifer was staring at me, her mouth open. "Right," I said calmly. "Yes, keep it comped. My gift to my sister." "Your gift." Amanda's timing was perfect. "Ms. Hayes, that's incredibly generous. The venue rental, catering, bar service, florals, everything comes to $180,000. Vanessa stood up so fast her chair tipped over. "Emma." Her voice shook. "What is she talking about?" I turned to look at her across the ballroom. "I own the venue, Vanessa. I have for 3 years. Grandview Estate is part of my hospitality portfolio." "Your portfolio?" "Hayes Luxury Properties. We specialize in high-end event venues. This is our flagship location." Mom found her voice. "Emma, is this some kind of joke?" "No joke. Amanda, can you pull up the company profile on that iPad?" Amanda tapped the screen, then turned it to show the room. "Hayes Luxury Properties. Founded 8 years ago by Emma Hayes. Current portfolio value, $127 million. 12 premium venues, 340 employees, projected annual revenue of $34 million. Uncle Richard choked on his wine. Vanessa walked down from the head table, her wedding dress rustling. She stopped in front of table 18. You own this. Her voice was barely a whisper. I do. And you paid for my wedding? I did. The bill bounced. Amanda called me because I'm your emergency contact. I approved comping it. $180,000. Yes. But you said you were freelancing. Living in a tiny apartment. I am freelancing. I consult for my own company. And my apartment is 2,000 square feet in the building I own downtown. It's not tiny, just minimalist. Dad appeared beside Vanessa. Emma, why wouldn't you tell us about this? Biz, you never asked. You assumed I was struggling and I let you assume. But the gift registry, Vanessa's face was crumbling. I told you not to bring a gift. I said you couldn't afford it. You did say that. Oh my God. She sat down heavily in someone's empty chair. I seated you at table 18. You did. Near the kitchen. Yep. Mom had joined the growing crowd around my table. Sweetheart, if we'd known. You would have treated me differently, I finished. I know. That's why I didn't tell you. Aunt Caroline pushed through. But the bridal shower, we felt so sorry for you. I know. It was quite a performance. Jennifer grabbed my hand. Emma, I offered to lend you a dress. You did. It was very kind. But you're wearing, she looked at my dress more carefully. That's not off the rack, is it? Custom Armani. I had it made for tonight. The groomsmen at my table laughed in disbelief. This is insane. You let them talk to you like that for weeks. Months actually. Years if we're being honest. Vanessa was crying now, her mascara running. I told you not to embarrass us with a cheap gift. You did. And you paid for my entire wedding. I did. Emma, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I looked at my sister, really looked at her. She was 28 years old, spoiled rotten by our parents and genuinely distraught. Vanessa, it's okay. It's not okay. I was horrible to you. You were. But you didn't know better. None of you did. I stood up, smoothing my dress. I could have corrected you at any time. I chose not to. Why? Mom asked. Why let us think? Because I wanted to see how you'd treat me when you thought I had nothing. And now I know. I picked up my clutch. Amanda, the venue looks beautiful. Please give my compliments to the entire staff. Wait. Vanessa grabbed my arm. Don't leave. Please don't leave. I'm not leaving. I'm just going to get some air. Emma. Dad's voice was rough. We need to talk about this. We will. At Sunday dinner. Where I'll explain exactly how I built a $127 million company while you all assumed I was barely getting by. I paused. For now, enjoy the reception. It's paid for, the venue is beautiful and the band is excellent. Have fun. I walked out to the garden, leaving my family standing in shocked silence around table 18. Amanda found me by the lake 10 minutes later. Miss Hayes? Your sister is asking for you. Tell her I'll be back in a moment. She wants to move you to the head table. The head table is full. She's moving other people. I smiled. Of course she is. Tell her thank you, but I'm comfortable where I am. At table 18? At table 18. I've spent the whole night there. Seems fitting to finish it there too. Amanda hesitated. For what it's worth, that was the most spectacular thing I've ever seen. Just business. That was not just business. That was art. I returned to the reception in time for the bouquet toss. Vanessa threw it directly to me, her way of apologizing, I supposed. I caught it because it would have been more awkward not to. Later, as guests were leaving, Vanessa found me again. I've been thinking, she said quietly. About what kind of sister I've been. What kind of person I've been. She twisted her wedding ring. Emma, I don't know how to fix this. You don't have to fix it tonight. It's your wedding day. Enjoy it. How can I enjoy it knowing I've been treating you like someone you thought needed help? I smiled. Vanessa, you weren't trying to be cruel. You were trying to be kind in your own misguided way. It's not great, but it's not unforgivable either. She hugged me suddenly, fiercely. Thank you for paying for my wedding. You're welcome. Even though I absolutely didn't deserve it. Probably not. But you're my sister. I wanted you to have a perfect day. Even from table 18. Especially from table 18. She laughed through tears. Next family dinner, you're sitting at the head of the table. We'll see. I left Grandview Estate at midnight, my Armani dress swishing around my ankles. In my clutch was a wedding favor with my name on it. Proof I'd attended, proof I'd been relegated to the back corner. Proof that even from table 18 I'd owned the room. My phone buzzed. A text from Amanda. Asterisk, the bride wants to book the Riverside Club for her first anniversary. Should I give her the family discount? Asterisk. I smiled and typed back. Asterisk, give her the regular rate. She can afford it now that she knows who I am. Asterisk. Asterisk, understood. And Ms. Hayes? That was legendary. Asterisk. Just another Saturday night in the hospitality business. I drove home to my tiny apartment, the 2,000 square foot penthouse overlooking the city, and poured myself a glass of wine. Table 18. They'd meant it as an insult. I'd turned it into a throne.